welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Eliza at Eliza Journals. If you're new here, welcome. If not, welcome back. So I don't do too many videos like this on my channel. I just never really do, because when I think about doing videos like this, the month is completely over. I didn't do one for May. Well, originally I thought about doing like a May wrap up, but that would have been like really stupid because I didn't even do a May TBR. The only reason why I really don't like doing TBRs is because I'm a mood reader. And when you're a mood reader, you know that having like books specifically for the month, it never works out because it's just whatever I'm in the mood to read. So as you all know, I probably haven't said this enough on my channel, but I really enjoy thrillers. So thrillers, mysteries, unsolved murders, true crime. I'm very fascinated with those type of books. So it's very rare that you will see romance. Now, I will throw in some romance here and there, but not a lot. So I'm really trying to diversify my authors a little bit more and get into reading more authors than I was last year. So there are certain authors that I feel safe with. So y'all know how certain authors like CJ Box, JD Robb, which is Nora Roberts, that's pretty much like her pseudonym for her in this series. Linda Castillo, let's see what else. Harlan Coben. Those are literally my go-to authors when I want to read something like suspense, thriller, mystery. I don't really read too many horror because I really haven't found any horror books that I really enjoyed, that I really love reading. But those are just my safe authors, and I know I don't even have to read the back of the book for the synopsis. I know that if I pick this book up, it's going to just be good anyway. So I'm trying to diversify my reading a little bit just overall and try to venture out, you know, to read some other authors. So I'm actually going to go through some books that I picked out. That doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to read them this month, but these are just some books that I actually picked out that I may read. I'm trying my best to commit to these books, but y'all already know if you're a mood reader, it's like you just have to go with the flow of the month. So I really wish that I can actually show y'all all the books I've accumulated since being in the rental home. So like right now we're in a rental because we had a house fire last year, November. It's June and they're just now starting on the house. But that's neither here nor there. So we're gonna actually get into what I'll be reading. So there are 3 books that I don't have physical copies of. So the first book that I requested from NetGalley is The Mirror by Nora Roberts. And I'm actually gonna have to read y'all the synopsis. So I'll just put the book on the screen. I actually requested the audio version because, okay, this is the thing. I don't know if this sounds like hypocritical or not, but Nora Roberts has a pseudonym for her in that series, JD Robb. So with that being said, I've never read any of her books that goes by like her real name. So I was like, okay, this should be interesting. The synopsis of the book seemed interesting. So I think that I would like to try to read something by her original name. So what I really want to do is I really want to compare, you know, like her books based on like her writing style. Like, does the writing style actually change with her regular books that she goes by Nora Roberts? Is her writing style the same in this series that she goes by JD Robb? So I was like, this is a good time for me to actually compare and contrast like her writing styles depending on which name she goes by, if that makes sense. It might not make sense, but sometimes you know that depending on the genre of the book, your writing style is like completely different. So so Nora Roberts, The Mirror, is about, well, actually, I think my mistake, okay, let me tell y'all. Actually, I think my mistake was not requesting to read the first book, because it is a trilogy, and I requested to read book 2, and I didn't realize that I was requesting to read book 2, but I think they are standalone books. So I don't think you have to read them in chronological order. So the book is about, it says, when Sonia McTavish inherits the huge Victorian mansion on the coast of Maine, she has no idea that the house is haunted. The footsteps she hears at night, the door slamming, music playing, are not figments of her imagination. In her dreams, she sees glimpses of the past. In the present, she finds portraits of brides, and when she has visions of an antique mirror, she is drawn to it, sensing it holds dark family secrets. Then one night, the mirror appears, and Sonia glides through this looking glass into the past and sees a bride murdered on her wedding day, the circle of gold torn from her finger. It is a scene that will play out again and again, a centuries-old curse that must be broken, and a puzzle she must solve if there is any hope of breaking the curse. So I'm going to actually give this a try. I'm kind of hesitant because I'm like, what if her writing style is not the same as her in this series? Like, and I'm not saying that the book has to be exactly like, I'm talking as if like her sentence structure, just pretty much like how her in this series, they really flow really well. They're very medium paced books, and I mean, most of her in this series are amazing from the beginning to end. There's no doubt about that. So I'm really interested to see how this book is compared to her other books. And I know I really shouldn't probably be comparing these two types of series, but it's going to be interesting to see if this book is really good or not. Okay, so the next arc that I requested, so if you don't know what arc means, is advanced reader copy. So actually, The Mirror actually came out last year in November, but the publisher released it to me to review. So I mean, I still need to review it, so hopefully I can get through the audio. So the next arc that I requested to review was Blood in the Water by Tiffany Jackson, and I've heard a lot of really great things about Tiffany Jackson. So I was like, oh, you know, this is like my chance to actually read some of her books. So I saw 2 books on NetGalley that have not been released yet. So Blood in the Water releases July 1st. And this book is actually middle grade. So this particular book is 4th to 7th grade. So between the ages of like 7 and 12. So the book is actually about a girl named Kaylani. She lives in Brooklyn with her mother, and her father is actually incarcerated. So Kaylani goes to spend like the summer with this family that her father knows, and she actually has to catch the ferry in order to get to this community called Martha's Vineyard. So now that someone has been killed in this community, I mean, the community is already kind of spooky anyway. So now that someone has actually been killed in this community, they're trying to say that, okay, well, maybe a shark did it, or it could be murder. So yeah, I was like, this seems really interesting. I mean, it's middle grade, but I definitely would like to read something of Tiffany Jackson. So I requested it and I was approved. So that's the second arc. And then the third arc that I requested for was another Tiffany Jackson book, which is called The Scammer. That particular book, I think, comes out in October later this year, October 2025. I can put the actual date on the screen. And so this one is more of a young adult. And I requested this one because I'm like, oh, this seems like this will be really good. So basically, this is about a girl named Jordan. She's graduating from high school, and she ends up attending an HBCU. Of course, her parents are like, no, you need to follow the family legacy, and they wanted her to attend Yale. She didn't want to. She ends up going to this HBCU. So all these things start to happen when her roommate's brother is released from prison. And when he gets there, it's like everything changes. So I was like, oh yeah, this seems like a really good book. And what intrigued me was really the cover of the book. So the cover of the book looked really, really interesting. And I love how the cover of the book had like people strung by puppets. So you already know that it's giving manipulation, gaslighting. So I was like, oh yeah, I think I'm gonna like reading this because I've heard great things about the author, and she is African American. So I'm definitely wanting to read it to just see what her writing style is like. And then the fourth art that I requested was Rage by Linda Castillo, which her book is coming out I think July 8th. And Linda Castillo is like an amazing author. She writes like these Amish murder series, and I absolutely love it. And I requested that art, but I was denied based on they already had like too many requests for the book, which if anyone knows me knows that I absolutely love Linda Castillo. So I was like really upset that I could not read this book, but it's okay. So now we're gonna actually get to the physical copies of the books that I'll actually be trying to read this month. So one book is called One of Us is Lying. So I actually, and this, y'all listen to this. This is my ADHD. So we're actually reading this at my job. So the kids are doing like a book club for the summer. So there's a reading teacher, and she's actually getting our youth involved in reading, and she's trying to really encourage them to read more, to really assist in helping build their reading fluency and comprehension and things like that. So on Friday, my coworker was walking around reading this, and I'm like, girl, what you reading? And she's like, the kids are reading this. And I was like, let me see the front of it. And then she showed me the front of it. I was like, oh my gosh, like, girl, I have that book. And then so I was like, you know what, I could read this with the kids as well. So there are certain days at the home, because they live like at the facility where I work. So so basically I was like, you know what, I can like assist them in reading, because they have to read out loud to our staff, which just really just encourage them to read, even if they don't like reading. If they participate, of course we incentivize them if they participate, which is really cool. So this book is by Karen McManus. I actually got this from Target like last year, which is, it's so funny. I always say it's synchronicity. So right now the kids are reading to chapter 11. So I haven't started as of yet, because I literally just found out they were reading this. So I just said, well, I'm going to read to chapter 11. I can read to chapter 11 in one day, but because we're trying to help them build their reading fluency, some of them can't read that fast or process that fast. So I'm gonna read to chapter 11. I did download the audio version from Hoopla. So if y'all don't know what Hoopla is, I love Hoopla and Libby. So Hoopla is my secondary source for anything like books, magazines, comics, audio books. So if Libby doesn't have something, or if there's like a wait, y'all know it'd be like a wait on Libby. But if there's like a wait on Libby, sometimes I go to Hoopla and just see if the library that is connected to my Hoopla actually has the either the audio version or the ebook. And then if they do, I'll end up just getting the audio book, because I do like listening to the audio books while I'm driving. And then most of the time what I do is, if I have the physical book, I'll go back through the physical book and I'll tab all the things that I liked while I was listening. I'm trying to process it while I'm talking to y'all. So basically I'll just like tab the parts that I like during the audio version while I'm driving, if that makes sense. So if you've never heard of this book, I think it's like 4 or 5 books. I actually have 4 of these. And every time I see them on sale, like, I just like grab them. So the other three I got from, I think the other three I got from Books A Million, and I think I got one from bookoutlet.com. So I love bookoutlet.com. I have to stay off that website because the books are half price. So if y'all are looking to purchase like 10 books, just say you want to expand your library or you want to start reading, bookoutlet.com is a really great resource because literally I think I purchased like 50 books for like maybe $150. It just depends on how much of a sale it's on. So some of them are like on clearance, but majority of the books are half price. And if you purchase them in like paperback form or pocket form, I mean, most of the times they're cheaper. So this particular book, it says, on Monday afternoon, 5 students at Bayview High walk into detention. Bronwyn, the brain, is a Yale-bound and never breaks a rule. Addie, the beauty, is the picture-perfect homecoming princess. Nate, the criminal, is already on probation for dealing. Cooper, the athlete, is an all-star baseball pitcher. And Simon, the outcast, is the creator of Bayview High's notorious gossip app. Only Simon never makes it out of that classroom. Before the end of detention, Simon's dead. And according to investigators, his death isn't an accident. On Monday, he died, but on Tuesday, he planned to post juicy reveals about all 4 of his high-profile classmates, which makes all 4 of them suspects in his murder. Or are they the perfect patsies for a killer who's still on the loose? Everyone has secrets, right? What really matters is how far you will go to protect them. So I definitely think this book is actually going to be good. So, I mean, it is YA, but y'all can't be sleeping on these YA. Like, these YA books be so good. So I do find myself a lot of the time migrating from adult books to YA. Like, I hit up the YA section first all the time when I go to Books A Million because most of those books be better than adult books. So the next book that I'll be trying to read is Razorblade Tears by S.A. Cosby. And this is a new author to me. Last month I did read All the Sinners Bleed. I actually gave that book a 4-star. The reason why I gave All the Sinners Bleed a 4-star was because there were some parts it was like really boring. And I'm just like, okay, I understand, but what does this have to do with the book? But then in the end, it's pretty much like I understand now why the author pretty much put these little tidbits of information in the book. And the only thing I didn't like about All the Sinners Bleed is that when things got tough, Titus's girlfriend was like, deuces. So I'm not going to spoil the book if you want to go read it, but I liked the book. I didn't love the book. I just think that some information or some details could have just been like, have been just cut short and just cut to the chase. Me, I'm like a fast-paced reader, and I really love medium fast-paced books. So some of the chapters were like very, very slow. And I'm thinking, okay, can y'all get on with it? But in the end, I actually ended up liking the book. And then I purchased this a couple months ago because everyone was raving about S.A. Cosby. And I'm like, okay, he's a thriller writer. He's a thriller, I guess, mystery suspense writer. So I was like, let me venture out and just get a couple of his books and see. And then they were half price. And you can't beat that because I got these from bookoutlet.com. So I just decided, okay, well, let me read this one. So I put this one on my TBR for this month. So the synopsis is, Ike Randolph has been out of jail for 15 years with not so much as a speeding ticket in all that time. But a black man with cops at the door knows to be afraid. The last thing he expects to hear is that his son Isaiah has been murdered. Along with Isaiah's white husband, Derek, Ike had never fully accepted Isaiah, but is devastated by his loss. Derek's father, Buddy Lee, had a similar relationship with his son, but he can't rest until he knows who killed them. So, I definitely am invested in S.A. Cosby. I've actually downloaded some of his other reads from Kindle Unlimited. So if you have Kindle Unlimited, there are a couple of his books you can download from Kindle Unlimited if you have the subscription. So I definitely would like to read more of his books. So I'm hoping to really like this book because I've heard a lot of great things about Razor Blade Tears. I've seen this a lot on my Goodreads, and if you don't follow me on Goodreads, you should. My Goodreads handle is actually below, so you can just click the link and just add me as a friend. So yeah, I'm excited about reading this one. Okay, so the next two books are by the same author. So I'm hoping that I can buddy read the last two Linda Castillo books with my friend Shelly. I really want her to be able to read at least one or two of these books just to see if she liked it. And what happened was I ended up ordering two of the same book. Yeah. So if you've never heard of Linda Castillo, she is an author that writes she writes other books, but she's mainly known for her Amish thrillers. And I absolutely love her books because she teaches you a lot in her books about the culture of the Amish, and their principles and tenets of their perception of themselves, their religion, their faith, and then how they perceive outsiders. Chief of Police Kate Burkholder used to be Amish, and she ends up being called in by people in the community to investigate these Amish murders that happen in the Amish community. Even though they feel like she is a hypocrite, basically, because she left the fold when she was 19 years old, because she just didn't agree with some of their values and beliefs. So even though they kind of see her as an outsider, they still kind of trust her enough to legally handle the affairs and the murders and things like that. So this book is called Sworn to Silence. So I think she has about 18 books in the Amish series. So I've been trying to find the ones that I can find. I've actually have been only able to find a couple of them at the public library. So I'll kind of rent them, check them out. But they only really had 4 or 5 Linda Castillo books in the library. Y'all, I don't know. I love checking books out at the library, but the library that I go to by my job, I have a Pines library card. So in Georgia, if you live in Georgia, there's something called Pines Network, and the Pines Network allows you to borrow books from any library district that participates in this Pines Network. And it's really a really magnificent thing that they actually created this. I think they created it maybe during the pandemic. I'm not sure how long this particular program has been out. So I'm able to check out books from the local library where my job is, because I don't have a Fulton County library card, although you can go online and you can apply for an electronic one, but it's only for 30 days. So after the 30 days, you have to go into the library. And y'all, I've just been being lazy. You have to go into the library to activate the card. And I never do that. I usually every month, I just keep reapplying for the electronic card instead of just going down the street to the library to get a library card, because I have not had one since I was in middle school. But anyway, so it just saddens me, the books that they have is just so y'all don't have any new books. So literally anything new, they don't have. Even when it comes down to African American or persons of color, Like you'll go in there thinking like, okay, I think I can, let's see if I can check out, you know, books from James Baldwin. They're like, who? I'm like, what? I'm literally like, so you mean to tell me y'all don't have any Octavia Butler books? I mean, it's just wild, okay? So I'm like, then it makes you think, this is why I don't check out books from the library. This is why people either use Kindle Unlimited or other resources, and you want to support your local library because we need our libraries, like we do. But at the same time, sometimes I want to ask them, can I just buy the book and donate it to the library? So, because I know if I'm looking for it, someone else has to be looking for it. So anyway, so this is Sworn to Silence by Linda Castillo. So you can definitely tell like this book is old. I got this book from Thrift Books. So if y'all have never heard of Thrift Books, it's pretty much like bookoutlet.com, except it's more of like, it's giving more of like a half price books or like a second in Charles. So basically you can definitely tell that, number one, these books were donated. They probably were donated from maybe like the library, or people are selling them and then they give them to Thrift Books and Thrift Books sell them. Because there were some books I got that looked like, you know, they were at the Goodwill, and the Goodwill was like, oh yeah, I have that book, I can send you that book, and then Thrift Books send it to me. But this one, so I have this pocket one, and then I have the paperback. And so a little bit about this book. 16 years ago, a series of brutal murders shattered a peaceful farming community. A young Amish girl named Kate Burkholder survived the terror of the slaughterhouse killer, but fled to the safety of a big city. Years later, Kate returns to Painters Mill, Ohio, as chief of police. She comes to terms with her past until the first body is discovered in a snowy field. Kate vows to stop the killer before he strikes again, but will she betray her family and her Amish past and expose the dark secret that could destroy her? These books are so clutch. So the next one is called Fallen. Of course, it's by Linda Castillo again. It's the synopsis says, when a young woman is found murdered in a Painters Mill hotel, chief of police Kate Burkholder is shocked to discover she once knew the victim. Rachel Schwartz was a charming but troubled Amish girl who left the fold years ago and fled Painters Mill. Why was she back in town, and who would kill her so brutally? So I'm definitely looking forward to reading this. I don't necessarily put my books in order. I try to choose a wide variety of genres to read, so just in case I'm like, oh yeah, I don't want to read that one, I think I want to just skip this one to go to that one. So that's why I do try to choose like one romance novel as like a palate cleanser, because sometimes you can read so many thrillers that it's like, okay, I think I'm tired of reading this now. I kind of want to read something really juicy and spicy and fun. So sometimes I try to read like a romance novel, because those are really good palate cleansers, depending on your preferred genre. So I think that if I do read a romance novel, it definitely will be something by either Danielle Allen or Nina High. If you're not familiar with those authors, you definitely should check them out if you love juicy, spicy romance novels. They are from women of color. Nina High is an independent author, so most of her books can be found on her website, but they also can be found on Amazon. So most of her books, I just get them from Amazon. Her books are really, really good. Danielle Allen is just amazing, hands down. So Nina High and Danielle Allen are literally my two women of color preferred authors when I read romance. Oh, and before I go, I just kind of want to quickly talk about the different formats that I use. So like I said, I use audio, physical, and then I also have a basic Kindle. I absolutely love this Kindle. Right now, I think this Kindle is at 109. I needed something really light. I've never been into Kindles, y'all. I promise. I used to criticize people for buying these, but now I see why people love them, because I love this Kindle. So I actually use this Kindle when I'm home and I'm like, ugh, I'm tired of holding the physical book. So then I'll just switch to my Kindle. So most of the time I can find the book on Libby, Hoopla, or sometimes it's on Kindle Unlimited. However, if it's on Kindle Unlimited, but it's not free with my subscription, I will just read the physical book. So this is definitely something that I utilize to read my books. And of course, y'all know I got the matcha color because y'all know my favorite color is green. But to be honest, I think it's more of like a sage than a matcha. So it does show like these ads on the front, which I know people are paying like $20 to have them removed, but I don't really care about that. So and then I actually have like a cover. Let me see if I can get it off. So I have a cover on the back. Y'all can see that out of the glare. I have this cover on the back that I actually made myself. And then I use a corner rounder to round the corners. And I actually have these on my website. So y'all can go download. I have like 5 of these on my website. They have the crop marks and everything, but they're only for the basic Kindle. So, yeah, so if you're looking for something like for your Kindle and you're like, oh, I want that, it will only fit the basic because I only have the basic. So it's like 5 of them in a file, and it has the crop mark, so you should be able to crop it and then use like a corner rounder to round the corners, and you just slip it in the back of your clear cover for your Kindle. And another one that I use, this one is my Books Palma 2. And I absolutely love this because it's very discreet. You can be at work, you can be on the toilet, you can be at church, but don't read at church. Don't do that. But you can be on the train. I mean, people would just literally think it's a phone. You could be in a business meeting, like, okay, yeah, I'm checking my messages. So I actually really love this one. So if y'all want a detailed video of like all the features of the Books Palma, it is Android powered. So it does a lot more than my Kindle, which means that the price of this was 3 times as much as my Kindle. But I absolutely love it. And it has like a camera on it, but of course it's an e-reader. So some people expect this to be like a phone. Like, no, it's not a phone. It's just an e-reader, so I absolutely love it. This one I take with me like when I leave the house because it's smaller than my Kindle, and no one will know that like I'm reading. They'll just probably think like I'm on the phone. And you can actually order cases on Amazon for these. So they actually have like a Books Palma, like I guess the first one, they have a Books Palma 2, and then they have like the color versions, kind of like the Kindle. So they have like color versions on their website. I saw those on their website. They're about the same price as like the Kindle Color Soft, but I'm not trying to do all that. But anyway, so as y'all can see, I love a mushroom. So I ordered this. I think this case was like $7. But this is like also a good option. One thing I do notice is that sometimes my Kindle does not sync to where I left off on my Books Palma, even though they're both in the Kindle app. I don't know. Kindle needs to like check up on that. So like I'll start reading a book here, and then I'll go to my Kindle, try to pick up where I left off here, and it started me at the beginning, which I don't really understand that. But like if I start on my Kindle and then come here, it's like this one will literally pick up where I left off on my Kindle. It's so weird. But anyway, So let me know if you're reading books this month. Let me know what's on your TBR, or let me know what you anticipate reading. Make sure you follow me on Goodreads and Storygraph, because I am on both platforms. However, if you want to see my reviews, you have to go to Goodreads, because I don't post reviews on both of them. That's just way too much. The only reason why I post on Storygraph is because I love the charts. So anyway, so just let me know what you liked about today's video. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to my content. Put a green heart in the comments. Until next time, thanks for watching. Bye.